In this video, I want to show you 5 weekly mounts from Battle for Azeroth that you can farm solo. Unfortunately, you won't be able to solo all of the raids from the expansion, so I won't be including them in this video. For example, you probably won't be able to solo Azeroth or Jaina on Mythic difficulty at this time. But anyways, let's take a look at the mounts that you can actually get. First up we have Sharkbait, which can drop from the final boss in Freehold. Alliance players can take the portal to Baralis and then fly to the dungeon. However, as a Horde player, you have to continue the war campaign until you unlock the option to travel to the other continent. Once you have it unlocked, you can speak to this NPC right here and sail to Zuldazar. Once you're there, just fly to the dungeon, which is located right here. However, before you enter, just make sure to set the difficulty to Mythic. Once you're inside of the dungeon, you can skip most of everything and go straight to the final boss. So you want to take the path to the right here, kill some of these NPCs standing in front of the bridge, then make a right turn and jump down from here. After that, make your way across the next bridge and you'll be at the final boss. Simply avoid the stuff in the ground and you should have no issues defeating the boss. The Underrot harness drops from Underrot. You can find the dungeon in Nazmir, which is located on Zandalar. As a Horde player, simply take the portal to Zuldazar and then fly to the dungeon, which is located right here. Once again, just make sure to set the difficulty to Mythic before you enter. As an Alliance player, you have to take the portal to Baralis and then speak to this NPC on the boat and set sail for Nazmir. However, if you don't have any options, you will have to complete the war campaign until you have access to the other continent. Once you're inside of the dungeon, defeat every single boss including the final one who can drop the mount. Luckily, you can skip most of the ads throughout the dungeon and just focus on defeating the bosses, which is pretty fast. This cool looking raptor drops from King's Rest in Zuldazar. You can find the dungeon entrance located right here. Once you're inside, make your way towards the first boss and click on this seal. Defeat the ads that spawn and then take on the first boss. After that, you want to defeat the remaining bosses and cross the bridge that spawns after you defeat the third boss. Once you've defeated the final one, don't forget to loot the chest because you might be lucky and actually get the mount. Gmod is a highly sought after mount. Luckily, it can also drop from LFR. However, if you want to obtain it on LFR, you need to defeat Jaina Proudmoore. On any other difficulty, you will actually have to defeat Makator instead of Jaina, so just keep that in mind. As an Alliance, you want to head to Baralis and speak to this NPC located here in order to queue off for LFR. You want to pick the Might of the Alliance option. If you're playing as a Horde, you want to head to Zuldazar and make your way to this location, which is actually just above the portal room. Talk to the NPC and select the option called Victory or Death to queue up for the LFR. The bosses are actually quite easy at max level. The first boss you just want to nuke down as fast as possible. For the second boss, focus on defeating the 2 NPCs on the ships, then make sure to interrupt the boss as soon as you get back from the ships and then just nuke it down. When you get to Jaina, just DPS her down in phase 1, and when she eventually transitions to the iceberg phase, you want to make your way where she's located and then interrupt her to continue the fight. After defeating her, don't forget to loot the chest on the ship. The Mechagon Peacekeeper is the final mount. It drops from the Operation Mechagon, which is one of the major dungeons in Battle for Azeroth. You can find the dungeon entrance on the Mechagon Isle located on Kultiris. When you enter a dungeon, you want to be very careful not to trigger hard mode, because it can make the encounter a lot more difficult and even impossible for some classes. To avoid this, don't attack the boss where the HK aerial oppression unit is flying above. You first want to defeat the bosses where the unit is not flying above. So to spawn the slime boss on the left side, you need to defeat the 3 toxic monstrosity NPCs nearby where the boss will appear. The other 2 bosses are actually pretty straightforward, just nuke them down and you should be good. After defeating all 3 bosses, you want to head up the hill and defeat the Tankbuster MK1 NPC. Then, the boss will start casting a huge beam. When this happens, you want to look up and run to the location where the boss is channeling. Once you reach the spot, stand in the middle and click on this thing. If the channeling gets cancelled for whatever reason, just click on it again. After some time, the boss will go haywire, and when that happens, just run down as fast as possible and nuke down the boss. And there you have it, that's the 5 mounts you can farm weekly from the Battle for Azeroth expansion. Enjoy!